Woolworths Catalogue starts like a grocery catalogue, but if you close your eyes and then look again, it could be like a chocolate store, like a Darrell Lee catalogue. Hi, I'm John, a clinical nutritionist, and this series is about navigating the noise, looking at the tension between marketing in a food environment in a supermarket and what good nutrition looks like on your fork. Let's begin looking at the front page. There isn't much on there that's going to be beneficial for you. There's crosses, as you can see. The coconut water, Cocobella, half price, that definitely gets a tick. But lots there to tempt you and invite you to partake in impulse campaigns and price mechanics to open up consideration. You might think, oh, I might consider that. Oh, that looks good. That looks like good value. And then you start thinking about it, right? Opening up, we do have some chicken breasts there at $8.50 a kilo, and that's a pretty good price for chicken breast. And then on just to the right of that, we do have half price olive oil, and that indeed is 750 ml. Yes, it's the small bottles of olive oil. So that's definitely worth picking up if you need it. As I've said previously, larger bottles of olive oil oxidize. So you want olive oil in your diet for antioxidant properties. And if you're going to buy a large bottle, then ironically you're doing the opposite of that. So you don't want that. Chocolate again, soft drink, no. Onto the other page, biscuits, energy drinks, full sugar iced tea, no. What have we got there? Interestingly, Table of Plenty in the dark chocolate variety as a snack with the rice snacks with the dark chocolate coating. Not too bad. I wouldn't go for the milk chocolate. And I have given the BC protein bars a half. And the reason I've given it a half is if you're considering a Snickers or a Mars bar or some sort of confectionery bar as a treat, then having that instead would be a better alternative. But you are still ingesting quite a few ingredients in there, quite a few numbers, and things that your biology was not designed to understand. So that's why it's got a half. On the other page, tea, yes, Tetley Pure Peppermint and English Breakfast. They're tea bags. You might be thinking microplastics. No, those tea bags aren't made of for plastics for the bags. And the muffin's got a half because there's wholemeal muffins there. Moving over, no. Kombucha, yeah, I would give that a half. If that's your path out of soft drink, no worries. Water's obviously better. And then we've got some cleaning, some personal care products. That's fine. Oh, here we go. We get to fresh. I'm not sure what page that's on. Page 8. That's page 9. Plums, great. Apples. You do have the avocados, the 5-pack there. They can come in handy. $4.90. Grapes, yeah, great. Grapes are in season, so good price for grapes in Coles, Woolworths and Aldi. Dates, I've got a half tick on those ones in the packet there for 10.90s versus the loose ones, which are they a higher price per kilo? I think they might be. No, they're actually cheaper. The ones in the packet are 24. I can't read my writing there. I've scrambled over it. $24 something a kilo, and the loose ones are $19 a kilo. Yes, you will have to fish through them yourself, which is challenging. But I do find that the loose ones aren't as dried out. And actually quite delicious. Anyway, that's a tip for you. See if you can find the dates in the fresh section of Woolworths. Veggies again, all tick. The only thing I'd say about corn, it's good if you're going to have other vegetables with it. But other than that, it's not my first choice. Let's just leave it at that. On the right hand page, I've got 3 ticks up the top, and yes, I got excited. That is a grass-fed beef porterhouse, and $18 saving $5. That's a good price. Normally $23 for the 2 serves, and that's definitely worth buying this week in Woolworths. You've got the pork boneless leg roast, again, $10 a kilo. That's a good price for protein. Sausages, processed, no. Crumbed, anything crumbed. You've got starches for a start in the breadcrumbing, which is going to spike your blood glucose. And if you're going to fry it, typically in omega-6 oils, that's seed oils, not a good go. The lamb steaks get a tick, as do the lamb chops. The slow cooking pork shoulder in the marinade gets a half, because there's going to be additives in that marinade, and the same reason with the chicken, and a half with the kebabs as well. Same with that shot there, although the food imagery does look fantastic. I'd say the American slaw is a good option, but I would just take the dressing out of it. Additives in there that you don't need, seed oils, and if you put some olive oil, extra virgin olive oil on it instead, that can be a great option. A lot of processed meat on the right hand side, a lot of crosses. You've got the Simpsons pantry tortillas there, and the Mission wraps down the bottom. In the wholemeal varieties, which is going to not spike your blood glucose like a shiny white one, fine. But then I just say why you're having that, and if you can have it instead. Are you having that as a what am I trying to say? A taco kit for dinner? Then perhaps have it without. But yeah, just question why you're having that, because otherwise high caloric density is what I'm trying to say than some breads. Cakes, biscuits, no thanks. We've got the Wise Wheat there in the middle, $3.20. It does have high fiber, I should say. I was going to say protein. In a wholemeal variety, yes. Otherwise, no. Half on the bread rolls again. In wholemeal variety, yes. Great seafood on the next page there. The tassel salmon, skin on. I gave that a half. Why did I give that a half? Oh, because I gave 2 ticks in the bottom there from the deli. It is a higher price per kilo, but if you're selective with the portions you use, it can be not that much more. And in the deli, the cuts of salmon are significantly better quality, and you'll find that after you cook it. Yes, the tassel salmon, smoked salmon gets across, because there's another variety in Woolworths that is Norwegian, I think, which is a cleaner sauce than that one. And I gave a tick to the frozen salmon, because that can be a good option to have in the freezer when you're not sure what to have for dinner. Lots of crosses there. The point out with the oysters, don't put it in oil, because that's seed oil. If there's spring water, go for that. Wild Alaskan red salmon, John West, it's an everyday low price, but yeah, tick. Serena tuna is a good saving, $2.30. Again, look for the oil. You don't want the oil. You want to avoid the seed oils. If it's olive oil, yes. If it's spring water, yes. Otherwise, no. And I did cross the hot cross buns. You've got chocolate ones. You've got caramel filled. You've got indulgent. Like, let's not fool ourselves. This is cakes. I understand why Woolworths do this, and Coles and Aldi, I think. Yeah, it's just the seasonality of it. But yeah, it's noise, and don't get tempted. It's just calorie loaded, and it's not the sort of snacks that they're going to enrich you. Again, I've crossed them off. It gets worse. Cinnabon, yeah, that's beyond a cake. And now we're starting to see in the middle of the catalogue, page 20, why you could think you're shopping at a chocolate store. Lots and lots of egg options there. And it's quite hard to shop Woolworths now without seeing this stuff. The idea of an off-location display, maybe you're navigating your trolley between aisle 2 and 3, and you might see it. But honestly, it's at 4, 5, 6, 7. It's in the toiletry, in the personal care aisle. You may think you've escaped it by the time you get to the freezer section, but as soon as you're turning again, it's on the back ends of the gondolas. You want to escape that noise and that temptation. You go into the bread and then the meat section. It's there again. It's just overdone. And why would Woolworths, the fresh food people, do this? Well, they do it because it sells. Impulse sells. There's good margin in chocolate, above category margin. They're going to make more money on it. And they know it's what's the word? It's discretionary, but it's not only there. Like the more you buy, the more you're going to eat. And you know, if you're a family going in and you say no once and you say no twice, well, here's a warning for you: you're going to be hit up 7, 8, and 9 times. And then you think you're safe when you get to the checkout. Then there's going to be more of it there. So in terms of navigating the noise, it's quite hard to navigate around that. And the displays to Woolworths and Cadbury would be the ones that have designed it. They're impressive. It's marketing 101. It's genius. They look beautiful, but your microbiome and your metabolism doesn't give you any breaks for that, and doesn't understand that. I will say on the other page, switching to slight positive for a second, the plain Cadbury egg bags is probably the least troublesome for you, if you like. They're portion controlled, so if you're controlling them in your pantry and your children can't reach them, that's great. And they don't have any, there's no egg like the cream eggs or the caramello on the top left, which sound fabulous, taste fabulous, but then you get caught on having those. They're significantly more calorie dense. So in short, if you're going to do that, that's probably the safer option. Turning the pages now. Free range eggs on page 24 we've got there. That's a cross for that sourdough because that is not traditional sourdough. That's got yeast starter in it, and it's not what you want. You want the traditional sourdough from the bakeries there. That's the fresh stuff rather than the packaged stuff that's baked in store. Orange juice is sugary lolly water, I would say. That's quite crude, but you don't want to be having your oranges as juice. The amount of oranges that have gone into that is excessive fructose, and then you start drinking your calories. That's a cross for the margarines, the seed oil. That's a tick for the Canadian maple syrup, and it's at a good price. I think that's every day. Rolled oats, tick. Just make sure they're not quick oats. They're the ones that are rolled. That's good. Organic smooth butter. I normally buy Mavis, but I think that one is going to be plain peanuts and salt. I haven't checked that for you. Lots of crosses there. Wraps, talked about that before. Lots of seed oil sauces, very calorific. That's a tick with the extra virgin olive oil spray. That's a watch out for the taco spice mix. Your pre-mixed taco seasonings in the supermarkets are quite heavy in sodium. There are some low salt varieties, but simply buying the base ingredients like your cumin, I'm just trying to think what the other ones are, paprika, and there's another one that's escaped me, is a much cleaner way of preparing your spice mix and cheaper as well. Moving over, the snacks, moving over to page 30. Lots of processed snacks in there. I've put enormous crosses on Nutella. The first ingredient, sugar. So don't be confused about what you're eating when you're spreading that on. High protein granola, I put extra crosses on there. Granola is very sugar heavy. So just by putting that halo there, in the second and a half, you're going to stand in front of the shelf. Don't be confused that that makes it all okay, because it's not. If this is helping you shop smarter each week, if you could do me a favour and hit like and subscribe, and then that way you don't miss the next week's catalogue, which I'm going to break down for you, and so you don't have to watch out for it. Page 32, again, Milo, watch out. It's laden with sugar. We'll keep on moving. Again, Milo's got a full page spread. Restore, Overnight, and Pro. Don't be confused. They're buzzwords. Gluten-free. I feel for celiacs, but I will say that just because something's gluten-free doesn't mean it's healthy. And often it has a high sodium content, and the reason for that is to dial up the taste, because without it, gluten packaged products can be quite bland. There's the mini bites in there. I've given a tick. Sunrise sea salt. It is from the health food aisle. Don't be confused when that says the health food aisle, but I've given that a tick if you are going to choose a snack. And I've given a shout out there for 2 ticks. The perfectly firm tofu. That macro one is quite good, and you don't need to squash the water out of it. There. And if you're into tofu, and if you're not, well, depends what you're doing with it. If you don't think tofu taste all that sensational, lots of crosses there were processed. I've crossed the Lurpak spreadable. It's got seed oils. I've given a half for the Yummies avocado and hummus dip. More so the hummus, less so the avocado. Again, the juice I've given a cross. Now, watch out, what are we? Page 38, Fropo. Just because something's got protein on it doesn't make a difference. So you've got the burrito there at 35 grams and the, Chipotle chicken 34. You're basically still preparing almost fast food at home. What do they call that? Fake away. I've given half to the Bang Bang chicken and rice and the barbecue chicken and cheese. It's going to be more processed chicken than you doing it yourself, but if that's saving you going through a drive-through somewhere, then that's a good option. And hey, protein pizza, it's still pizza. You're over-indexing on the bread there and the carbs. When at a meal occasion like a dinner or a lunch, you want to be over-indexing on nature's carbs, on your vegetables, not on your processed carbs in the bread. Ticks for the YoPro protein as a snack, 15 grams dairy protein. The Paul's Desserts. Yeah, I have given it a tick. You're better off having yogurt because you've got the probiotics in there and the lactobacillus. But yeah, if you're going to grab a tub of ice cream or a tub of protein custard, then you're probably better doing the custard. Yes, if you're vegan, half price on the protein Cocobellas, and typically coconut yogurt's low in protein, so they're definitely one to watch out for, and they're half price this week, so you could stock up on those most definitely. The page there, you've just got you've got crosses. Page 38. Moving on. Cross on those vitamins. The gummies, again, sugar. I'd just be caution of what you're using them for. I haven't looked, but the pre and the probiotic, I'd question what amounts are in there, what you're going to metabolize them for, and why you think you need a pre and probiotic, because they're not all the same, and different probiotics certainly treat different conditions. So I'd be concerned you might be wasting your money there. 40. There's half price on the plastic containers. And just put a cross there. You don't want to be putting your food in microplastics. So there's some good options for some glass containers, and have a go at them. But yeah, I wouldn't be stocking up on plastic food containers. And I think that's about it. And we go to page 50. So yeah, there's less pages this week. It's an overload of chocolate. It's an overload of ultra-processed food. And there's a lot of noise in Woolworths. And yep, they're doing it. It's a commercial reality. There's good execution by the chocolate manufacturers. You can tell that Mondelez, the makers of Cadbury, have purchased that real estate, and they would have paid, the amount they've got, they would have paid not hundreds of thousands, but potentially up to $1 million for that. And there's a reason for that, seasonality of Christmas and Easter in confectionery is they're the peak seasons. And that's capitalism, and that's what they're doing. They're having a go. I just question that you make that a conscious decision of what chocolate you're going to put in your trolley. And given that we're 2 weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks out from Easter, don't be trapped into putting chocolate in your basket this week, next week, and the week after, and then having all that excessive chocolate in the house from those public holidays where it's just too available. And then we get trapped into mindless eating. We don't realize that we've overeaten until we get someone yelling out from a bedroom, I've got a pain in my stomach. And that's not fun. So don't get trapped into thinking it's half price. That'd be really impressive. My daughter, my son would really like that. They'd be impressed, and overloading with it, because this is definitely an environment that you'll overload. Heavy on seasonal marketing. We'll look at Coles if you want to click on the next video and see if that's a different story.